right? The angle, the camera, the speed, the animation, boom, and that made the whole process, I think, hopefully, more effective than a normal scenario. Right?
Well, it gave a singular vision because the whole movie was lensed and hand by Fede, including all the shots that we did, which it feels that way.
So, having worked on with the Scotax on Terminator 2 and also Titanic as well, there's a saying on a Jim Cameron movie, and it's Jim can do your job, and we changed it towards Titanic. It's like James Cameron can do your job better than you can. So I think that
it's not the case, because we don't see.
But it's good that you know the tools, because at least you can communicate. And then the second part of that question was director's cut. What may have been left behind that may?
Oh no, nothing was left behind. Actually, we were. That's why I think the movie feels so dense. That there was nothing really left behind. I think there's one moment is left behind, but it was just trying to. At some point, we actually took title scenes out, and we had a way shorter cut where we took out the facehugger hallway when they run. All that stuff was not in the movie. At some point, I felt like it's not. I don't know. It was just I think for me it's a natural process. I do the rough cut, the director's cut, and one day I panic. I go, this is all shit, and I just start chopping everything that is not up there like the best, and then the movie ended up being an hour 20 minutes, and I go, okay, I went too far, and then I start bringing it back. But I found the process of addition. It's a healthier one. It's a better one. It's like you bring back what must be in the movie, instead of the process of subtraction, where you just go like, I says maybe, and you just take a little bit, and maybe this shot, and that's not enough to me. I think the best thing is like take everything out, take it there, and then bring back. So in that process, I started bringing a lot of things back. The movie's 2 hours, but really by just making it as efficient as it could be. So that there's no. This is almost a script. There's no shots or there's no scenes left behind. We were actually putting together the deleted scenes for the DVD, and I was like, there's no such thing. There's extended versions. Yeah. So there will be on the release there will be extended versions of the scenes where it's just longer and more things happen in some of the scenes.
And a good making of to inspire others. And thank you for making a movie that's right at 2 hours and not a 3.5 hour. Ben, what else we got? Well, what do we got in the audience? Okay, hand a mic.
Yeah.
How much of Ron Cobb's original designs were utilized for or referred to for this interior sets and exterior spaceships?
That's where we started. Obviously day one is with production designer is go to Ron Cobb and meet and just look at all those concepts and Giger and like just get drunk with those images and go and then start thinking how you're going to build it and we actually did the Echo Probe at the beginning. That ship is very similar to one of the unused designs that Ron Cobb did for the first film, and we tried to find things like that. Even actually the Renaissance station, at some point I took, we were trying to work out what it was going to be. I knew it was going to be that big dish, and that we're going to take place mostly below it, which I thought was very impressive to be under this massive dome for most of the time, which makes a big difference. If you're on top of it, you don't feel so oppressed, but because you're underneath, it just feels very oppressive. And when you're going to be this tower on top of it, and literally we're working with a concept designer, I took the Sulaco, built the Sulaco design was in meat, and I just put it on top of it like a cake, just a big tower. And so all the big tower, if you really look closely, has a lot of Sulaco style in the ship, and it was actually, because we knew that we wanted to be obviously a blend between Alien and Aliens. Half of the ship with the Remus station is supposed to be an older model. So if you look outside the design, it's more similar to Alien. And then when you go into the Romulus model, it's a bit more sleek, a bit more modern. It is more seat meat than Ron Cobb, and that's why this hallways, the second lab they go is a bit more modern. It was all trying to go from Cobb to see meet, and Cameron as well, because he's a big part, obviously, of the design of Aliens. Those hallways that you see, they're very similar to the hallways in Aliens Hope. But yeah, we tried as much as to really go back there and take inspiration from all those concepts, and it was always dying to find the one that hasn't been used to go and bring it to life. Like we did with Giger, with what we call the space vag. It goes by many names, the cocoon, but the thing on the wall, that's straight out of Giger's drawings. You know, that's what he wanted the egg to look originally, but Fox at the time wouldn't let him put a vagina on an egg. But now we got away with it.
Times have changed. Ben, there's a question right down here. Or you could just yell.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for coming out to talk. Really awesome film. So where did the idea come from to make a human and xenomorph hybrid? Was there any difficulties in making that character?
Yeah, it was always in the script, and I always wanted in the last few minutes to crank up the terror and the horror. Those last few minutes, I wanted the movie to feel scary but manageable for the most part. And then on the last few minutes, I wanted to just really take off my jacket, sleeve up, and go at it and really make it as terrifying as I could. And for me, that's, I don't know, this thing is made out of the things that scare me, and that idea is always terrifying. And on Evil Dead, my first film, has a very similar thing at the end, like it's abomination. So I knew it was going to be that, and then because it was the black goo that was from Prometheus, I thought, like, if that DNA is in there, it would be interesting to take the engineers that Ridley created on Prometheus and make it, it has those features, those facial features, but make it, skinny and without muscle, because it's growing so fast, it has nothing to take energy from. So, it's too big but very skinny, and that was always the inspiration. And then it evolved in different stages. I think at some point we wanted to add more CG and make the tubes in the back grow, and someone talked me out of it at some point. I was like, it's great the way it is. And I think Alex Garland saw the film and said, like, why would you change it? It's perfect the way it is when he shows up. And so he did. I'm glad we kept it that way, quite pure and simple.
Yeah, as a huge fan of aliens and like reading a bunch of like alien books and stuff, watching this movie, it feels like there's even callbacks to like not like alien not films, like books and that kind of stuff. And is that kind of stuff that you put in there? Are you like an alien fan as far as like the extended universe or whatever?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the job of the director making a movie like this one, if you're not, you should become one. If you don't know the novels, if you don't have the time to read them, or you pretend, that's just then you're not doing your job. So definitely early on, that's all I did. The movies I always knew by heart, but the comic books and stuff, I had to get the big books. I had them all then, go through all that. The novels are not that good, but some of the novelizations, I went through it, and the alternate, Aliens 3 scripts, all those things, which actually have some great ideas in them. In my mind right now is a blur of this massive alien stuff, but that's what you want to do. You want to kind of, again, get drunk with all this stuff, and just so then the creative process becomes more natural. It's just suddenly, once all you did is consume alien. But it's a privilege as well. It's like it's such a privilege for me to be able to make a movie. Like, when the young kid comes to me and says, like, that was amazing. I'm like, yeah, it took 45 years of a lot of very smart people, and that did all these things before us. And literally, this movie couldn't be done if it wasn't the work of all those franchises and all those masters of the craft that create those things. And we take all those ideas plus ours and new stuff, but it is a privilege to be able to borrow, sometimes literally out of the idea of all those masters.
Right? Pat, you got a question?
Yeah, sort of a general comment. You could have gone with a lot more alien carnage, but I like what you did here, where you kept it to a minimum. Just because you could do it doesn't mean you should necessarily, because sometimes other directors could have had just guts flying everywhere, and it was a nice balance. Was that something you thought of originally, or it just came out that way, or?
Yeah, like I tell you, in my I always love and I have a love-hate relation with CG just because I do it. I'm obsessed. On my computer, like my wife had to drag me out of it when I start doing CG projects just for the fun that no one will ever see them. So I love it. I love to do it, and I'm obsessed with the idea of photorealism, trying to find really something that works. And I remember that it was a turn. The 90s, great, CG amazing, making these big spectacles, loving it. And then came the wave from A Perfect Storm. And I think at that point it took a turn where suddenly I was like, I can resist it. It's so amazing to see, but I know that's not real. I know for a fact that's not real, but I love it. And then came Troy. And that really took. But this is remember Gladiator for me was amazing. CG used in a way that I believe that's Rome. It's just incredible. But they could do more. And then Troy comes in and they show that shot of the 1 billion boats, and I was like, fuck this. I was like, no, what are they doing? No, and I know he's not the artist, it's the director going like, can I have 1,000 ships? Yeah, let's put 1,000 ships, right? And then I was like, no, and the techniques were the same. It was not that it was not realistic, it was just like the concept was wrong. It was like, I don't believe there was like 2,000 ships in that attack, and perfect formation, in perfect distance between each other. No way. So, and I think at that point started overboard of abusing the CG, the magic of CG, abusing it, and then also, and the artists and everybody working because they asked for so much, and the movies depend so much on it, and it was being, as a director being greedy with the tool, going, because I can't do all this, let's do it. But I think the magic of this should be to fool the audience to believe it's real. That's what the best science fiction did. Fool you to believe this is a window to another dimension where all that shit is happening, right? That's the beauty. So that was our goal, and those guys did incredible, and we're all in the same boat of like, that's what we're aiming for, to really trying to believe it's real. So if I did 1,000 of them and range is with, we aim and assist to believe that you could shoot all those guys down. But if we did too much, I remember that was part of the note we give the most, right? Like take half out of them. I think half of the xenomorphs.
We got carried away at one point.
Like you normally do, but I think that's when it becomes. The problem becomes not the photorealism of the CG or the effect. It's that becomes unrealistic. The concept becomes unrealistic, right? And that's what we really try to, as an exercise in restraint that you have to constantly do with the big powers of CG.
You got one last question from our folks on Twitter? Oh, Ben?
We do a real question.
Oh, we're going to do an in-person
But
question.
the other ones are not real.
I think the same concept applies to the music as well. And what was your direction to the composer? That it was very organic.
Thank you. We had this crazy idea originally with Benjamin Wallfish. There was like, what if we do... You're all familiar, I'm sure, with the hero journey, the Joseph Campbell hero journey. Is this circle that we follow a lot when it comes to storytelling, right? Like you start home, you go out of home, you meeting the mentor, and there's all this journey that you take. But basically start home, go to their dark place, come back, and go full circle. And we came up with this idea with Benjamin about like, what if we do that for the orchestration? So we start orchestral. We start at the beginning. We start, with Goldsmith, basically, at the first beginning. And then as we go into the journey, the orchestra start getting smaller and smaller, and there's something that's taking over slowly, which are the synthesizers. And they start taking over, which has to do a lot to do with the things we've been discussing. So the digital, they're an analog synthesizer, by the way, but they start taking over, and then by the middle of the movie, you won't hear any orchestra almost. It's just those and then as you start getting towards the end of second act, naturally, usually the heroes start rising again in the story, so it's the orchestra starting to be heard, and it really hits you when you hear it because you miss it, you haven't heard it for a while, so instead of numbing you with an orchestra, it then loses power. So towards the end of second act, start to come back, and then in a way, on the darkest point of the story, which is usually at that moment, the third act, where for the characters, all is lost, things are gone completely. Now at that point, it's not even music, it's just sound design, and that's when we go into the womp, 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 and alarms, And then at the very, very end, when the hero rises in the hero journey of Justice Campbell, the orchestra rises, right? When she falls out and she comes and the music, boom, it's come back. And it crushes you, right? Because you can feel it. You feel his absence and then you feel his presence. But it's a big lesson from Aliens as well. Aliens has very little music. It has an incredible score from James Horner. But if you play that movie, you'll see there's massive sections of no music whatsoever, incredible action set pieces with no music whatsoever. But when the anvil drops and boom, the thing comes back, and you feel it because it hasn't been there all the time. Like it's another thing that I could go on forever. How music, some movies these days abuse score until the end. So we try to be economical about that as well.
Well, to paraphrase a line from Aliens, it's game over, man. So I think we're going to have to leave it there. I'd like to thank you all for coming. Redesigned website, and see you at the next one.
Thank you.